The following podcast contains spoilers for Monsters Ball. You have been warned. Get off my property. Go on, get.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of KFR News Radio. This is your host, Glenn Button, along with your host, Miguel. Get off my property, my goose.
Get off my property.
How you doing, man?
He's just a boy. He don't deserve that.
He don't deserve
That's a
it.
different Billy Bob Thornton movie, but I'm good. How are you?
Listen, I'm feeling good. I'm desiring some ice cream. We'll talk about that for later. But man, tis a Sunday and it feels good.
Tis a Sunday. We watched a bleak movie, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Before we do that, Glenn, what movies have you watched this week that are noteworthy?
The bleak movie. That's
Is that it?
Yeah, sadly, I've been pretty much working pretty hard this last week, so
Yeah.
I haven't been able to get around to seeing any movies besides the one we saw, and obviously the trailers that we also saw. Get ready for those guys, unless
Yeah.
they're already up. Get to watching.
Yeah.
But no, what have you been watching?
So I watched a total of 3 movies, kind of a light week for my standards, at least.
Mm-hmm.
First one I watched was Beast, which is a movie with Jesse Buckley and Johnny Flynn. It's essentially this movie about this, like, troubled girl. You can tell she has, like, or woman, rather. She has, like, depression and kind of reckless tendencies and everything. And she meets this man who kind of saves her from, like, a sexual assault kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or attempted sexual assault. She, like, it's a whole thing. I don't want to get into it. But, yeah, they kind of build this relationship, but there is a serial killer on the loose, and some people suspect that it's this guy.
Oh.
And it's a really interesting film. It's a little bit sloppy, so I didn't give it a super high rating. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Story alone, I would have given it like a 4.5, 5 maybe. But
Okay.
just the editing is kind of sloppy. Acting is great. Really, it's just a film that falls from its technical aspects of it, but it's a great movie regardless, and I highly suggest people check it out. That's called Beast. Really intriguing film.
Where's that at?
Let me see if it is anywhere. I got it through Netflix DVDs. Unfortunately, Beast is a very popular movie name, so apparently it's on Amazon Prime. I don't know if that means sometimes it says it's on Amazon Prime, but you have to subscribe to a channel. It might be one of those situations. But yeah, it's I highly suggest it. It's a really good movie. Legitimately, my only problems were some technical issues that were enough to drop it like a full star for me. But otherwise, it's a great film. Highly suggest it.
Okay.
Then you and I watched Those Who Wish Me Dead. There is
that's
a
true.
video review of that on our YouTube channel for those who want to check out our thoughts. Angelina Jolie, fire watch lady. She watches fires. Kid on the run from assassins. Whole thing. Just an average Tuesday.
Absolutely. For her, any day of the week is just an average
Exactly.
Tuesday.
So yeah, you can check out our thoughts on our YouTube channel where we did a full review with spoilers too, but we warn you when the spoilers come so you can skip ahead. And you get a little Smokey the Bear interludes in there.
I haven't watched it yet, so I'm going to enjoy that. for
Yeah,
sure.
you know I like to put like some weird things as the interludes.
Absolutely.
And Smokey the Bear just felt right. Then I watched Monsters Ball, which we're going to get into in a minute. And
Wow, it was a slow week for both of us. Look at
yeah,
that.
very slow week for both of us. Only less than 5 minutes in, and we're already on to news. So, Glenn, do you have any news?
I kind of do. Unfortunately, we can never escape the whole Zack Snyder thing. Yeah. So,
Oh my God, people just need to stop.
yeah, he's gone to express how Warner Brothers, does not want his movie universe anymore.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a bad. I assume, at least from reading it, it didn't seem like a bad way. He's just kind of stating, he's like, yeah, they kind of just are done with it, and I don't blame them. I also understand that fans I mean, they were already this far. You might as well continue it, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, I was so and so about the Justice League Snyder cut. Definitely a Snyder cut, not the Whedon cut. But you know, at this point, I would love to see Henry Cavill keep going. I would love to see Ben Affleck keep going because they make great like they're great actors for those characters and such. So he talked about that, and he also to really, I guess, you know, poke the fans in a direction to keep pressing for Justice League. He just kind of revealed Justice League's John Stewart Green Lantern, like what it would have been. And I guess it was originally meant to feature Wayne T. Carr as John Stewart. So we would have had John Stewart Green Lantern if you didn't know who John Stewart was.
Which one is he?
John Stewart is Green Lantern. He's the black one.
Okay, I didn't want to say that and just
he's from the animated series. Basically.
Yeah, I knew.
It's more or less what I should have said.
To the point where I thought that he was the only Green Lantern, like because I don't know enough about the lore.
Hal Jordan was like I guess the original Green Lantern.
Yeah,
when as far as you know,
when they cast Ryan Reynolds, I was like, isn't the Green Lantern black though? And then people explained to me that there's more than one. It's kind of like a whole system kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know names or anything, but he was the only Green Lantern that I was aware of until the Ryan Reynolds one came about.
In my opinion, definitely for a much better Green Lantern than Hal Jordan. But that's. I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
Legitimately, when I was, I think that series was out when I was in like middle school, maybe early high school or something. I liked that series. Like, not enough to like remember the names or anything, but
the Justice League series.
No, wasn't there a Green Lantern series? I feel like there's.
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe it was a Justice League
only
series.
Superman, Batman.
I only caught maybe like 10 episodes. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I remember the Green Lantern in that series and liking it a lot.
Yeah, I think you might be thinking of Justice League. Justice League is a great animated series. But yeah, so, you can only imagine what the fans are probably like, wow, look at the Green Lantern. Come on, Warner Brothers. Let him do it. We'll probably never stop hearing about this, honestly. I mean, I'm not exactly against it. I'm not saying that I'm against it, but also,
the fans are annoying about it. Like,
yeah, we've also been in this for so long. that I'm just kind of ready to move on.
Exactly.
Just like, the Fast and Furious and the Saw franchises. I'm just, can we just stop, please?
It's like the law of diminishing returns. Like, I used to really like Jennifer Lawrence, and then people wouldn't shut up about her, and now I can't. Like, she annoys me a little. She doesn't annoy me. People's reactions to her annoy me.
It's more for me, like, we're having so many good independent movies again. Like, they're starting to make good independent, like, superhero type, at least Warner Brothers, like, getting there.
Yeah.
That I'm kind of ready for this to drop off and move on so we can have much better things.
Yeah.
But, I'm one person in many, so, who knows? But that's my news. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I have kind of a bombshell of news.
Oh.
So I don't know how much you know about this, Glenn, because I know you don't really follow the awards as much as I do. The Golden Globes are essentially on their last leg. So many stars are protesting them because of their lack of diversity and their issues with racism, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, all that stuff. And so much so that Tom Cruise, who never talks about politics, returned his Golden Globes in protest. He has won 3 Golden Globes for Jerry Maguire, Magnolia, and I want to say Rain Man. I could be wrong, and I'm not going to look it up just for this. But he returned all 3 of his Golden Globes. NBC has straight up said that they're not going to air the Golden Globes next year until the Golden Globes get their shit together. Gary Oldman, a quote from him coming out saying that it was the Golden Globes was essentially a collection of 90 nobodies who were trying to be, Hollywood elite people. Yeah. So I, for one, have never liked the Golden Globes. I thought they were always tacky and stupid. The fact that they kept hiring Ricky Gervais as a host is just ludicrous to me, especially when he made it very clear he didn't want to do it. They just kept throwing money at him.
Him tearing apart the shows more than anything was my favorite part.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like they obviously had no idea what they were doing. They have no intention of changing and have just said what they need to say to get going, and people are finally fed up with it. And Tom Cruise returning his Golden Globes is a huge middle finger to Golden Globes.
Absolutely.
And I personally would not care if the Hollywood Foreign Press Association just dissolves completely, and because they're honestly like, we don't need the Golden Globes and Oscars. We don't need the Golden Globes and Emmys. We already have big award things. The Golden Globes were essentially just a warm-up, a practice, if you will, for those things. And the fact that they have proven to be so unwilling to change throughout the years, it's like it's enough is enough.
And now we have to make room because the Stonies are on the way. So.
The Stonies are on the way. We have been told that the Stonies are indeed an award show.
Definitely more than two people.
Definitely more than two people. We let everybody in.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so Golden Globes, if they go away, good riddance. It's a huge thing that Tom Cruise returned his Golden Globes, and I'm interested in see where this is going. Because right now it does not look good for the Golden Globes.
Yeah, I don't. I think more or less me personally. I think I've only really ever watched the Golden Globes to get ready for the Oscars or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched either of those, and to be honest, so long. I just kind of catch the news after, like the next day.
I always watch the Oscars. I haven't watched the Golden Globes probably the last 3 or 4 years, especially this past year. Like for me, award ceremonies on Zoom are stupid.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was going to deal with the Oscars being on Zoom if that were the case. Luckily, they had a small in-person ceremony, but like the Golden Globes being on Zoom, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with that. I haven't dealt with it the past 2 years. Why would I deal with it again?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully the dissolution of the Golden Globes, but we'll see.
One day.
And if they don't, it's whatever. I don't really care about them regardless.
It's just, a view that they're not getting from us still.
But yeah, the Hollywood Foreign Press is a piece of shit organization, and we'll hopefully see them fall apart. All right. Yeah, that's all the news I got. Anything else to say before we jump in?
I think that's it, honestly.
All right, let's get into Monsters Ball.
I've been coming here for damn near 11 years, and I'm tired. Only reason I'm here, so you can say goodbye to your son.
Lionsgate Home Entertainment proudly presents Academy Award winner Billy Bob Thornton.
Do you know what you did? You should have done that. You son of a bitch.
Academy Award winner Halle Berry.
Hank!
Who are you?
My name is Letitia Musgrove. Me and Hank is, friends.
Peter Boyle.
It's a time when they knew their place. Where you going?
I met your daddy.
Heath Ledger.
You hate me. Yeah, I hate you. I always did.
And Sean Combs.
I've always believed that a portrait captures a person far better than a photograph. It truly takes a human being to really see a human being.
Monsters Ball. After a family tragedy, a racist prison guard re-examines his attitudes while falling in love with the African-American wife of the last prisoner he executed. Directed by Mark Forster, which that name, I'm not going to lie, when I saw it on the beginning credits, it was blowing my mind for a little while. Because I've never seen the last name Forster. Like maybe Forrester or something like that,
Forster.
or Foster. So I'm like... written by Milo Adika.
Stop.
Attica. Will Rocco's. Stars Billy Bob Thornton, Halle Berry, Taylor Simpson. P. Diddy's in there, otherwise known as,
Sean
the main
Combs.
man, Sean Combs. I don't think he likes being called P. Diddy anymore. Heath Ledger, if I didn't say that already. Mos Def is in there. And who's the dad?
Now
Peter Boyle.
he goes by Yasin Bey, Mos Def.
Yeah.
Just to give respect to his name, Yasin Bey. And what were you saying? Peter Boyle?
And Peter Boyle.
Yeah, young Frankenstein, or Frankenstein himself, Frankenstein's monster in Young Frankenstein. I literally just opened up Mark Forster's IMDb page. He has made a lot of movies that I really like.
Has he?
Finding Neverland, great film.
Oh, yeah.
Stranger Than Fiction, really good movie. The Kite Runner, fantastic movie. Quantum of Solace, maybe not the best Bond movie, but definitely has the most emotional ending of any Bond movie. So like the ending of Quantum of Solace really stuck with me. Machine Gun,
especially after coming out after Casino Royale, it's like not.
Yeah, so like the fact
Tough.
that I definitely see how he did Quantum of Solace. Machine Gun Preacher is a good movie. World War Z. Christopher Robin, the best Winnie the Pooh movie to ever come out. It's such, legitimately, I'm surprised that I'm just now learning his name because he's made a lot of movies that I really like.
Yeah.
That's Mark Forster. He's a German director. But yeah, what is the Monster's Ball? Like, what ball is of the monster?
I actually looked it up here, and Monster's Ball is an Old English term for a condemned man's last night on Earth, is what this says here.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, like it's definitely not this man's last night on Earth, or is it? Let's get into the review, shall we?
Yeah.
So I picked this movie because I know it's been around for obviously the last 20 years, and I've heard about it. I've heard it mentioned in songs before and stuff like that. So I was like, let's kind of. And I heard Halle Berry and Billy Bob Thornton kind of have a scene in this. I'm not going to specify what it is, but there's a scene in more than one. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. So I was like, let's give this a chance. I know I saw you didn't see it, so I'm like, I didn't see it. So like, it's not like we have this review platform or anything. We can both watch it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that was like the motion going forward and going into it, and so we got into it, and it was really kind of rough in the beginning for me, because there's not all these people, but like it's you got all these people who are just kind of pretty racist in the beginning, like pretty much really racist, and it's very hard to listen to, especially in this day and age, that we live in 2021. So Billy Bob Thornton's character is pretty much racist, kind of a descendant of his father who Peter Boyle plays. What was his name? Buck and Hank. Buck and Hank Grotkowski.
Buck, Hank, and Sonny.
Yeah, what names? So these guys, they're pretty racist, and like Hank gets it from his father. And then, we'll talk about the journey there. But his son, so his son, Sonny, which was a weird way to say that, doesn't see eye to eye with his father the way he does. He doesn't have those racist tendencies. I am losing my mouth today, I guess.
Yeah, you're doing good. You're going.
And I mean, he's showing, in prison, they're correction officers in prison, and you could see these little racist tendencies coming from Hank, but not from Sonny. Like Sean Combs, little P Diddy, is in jail. He's on death row, getting ready to be executed, and like Sonny's showing him compassion, and Billy Bob Thornton's character is just like, yeah, no, what do you think? What do you think you're doing?
Yeah. Sonny's trying to be more like Tom Hanks in The Green Mile.
Yeah.
And Hank is trying to be more like that other guy in The Green Mile, the apathetic one who got the job because of nepotism, whose name I can't remember. But it's a really good like correlation, like black and white, yin and yang. You see who the good in Sonny contrasting against the bad in Hank. Mm-hmm. And when it all kind of boils over into Sonny killing himself, it's just at first, at least, you don't think that it's going to affect Hank at all because he's just like, you know.
He's very emotionless unless he wants to, show anger towards, those he doesn't seem worthy, I guess.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird because, like, at first it kind of feels like Hank is definitely racist in the beginning. I'm not what I'm about to say is not saying that he's not racist, but his racism kind of feels like, oh, this is how my dad acts. This is all I know. And then seeing how Sonny acts kind of makes him question things. Mm-hmm. In a good way. And again, that's not to say that he was never racist. It's just he realizes that he doesn't have to be his father's son, personality wise. Obviously,
how he's lived his whole life is like you just said, there's his father's son. Like, he's following in his father's footsteps.
Yeah.
And seeing Sonny kind of end his life and just, stop his suffering there, kind of made him open his eyes. Not kind of, definitely opened his eyes about the whole thing. And how he sees things and how he'll go forward from there.
Yeah.
And I'm watching Heath Ledger die. It's not a great thing, but I'm glad he died. so we can get this perspective of Billy Bob Thornton's character growing up a little bit, being a real person and not being a piece of poo-poo, caca.
Yeah.
That he was.
And the part of this that I really liked was seeing Billy Bob Thornton's character change, which obviously starts with picking up Halle Berry and her son after her son was hit by a car, and seeing her mourn her son's death and everything, and kind of realizing like that's how one is supposed to act when their son dies. And the one thing though, I wish they never really explicitly show Hank realizing he was wrong and acting the way he does. It just kind of happens, which it's fine that's the case, but I think it would have been nice to see him say something to his dad rather than just putting him in a home.
Yeah.
And
at least have a conversation there between the two of just like, I'm like, I'm not going to be like you anymore or something like that.
And that never happens. He just puts him in a home and he's like, yep, this is it.
And just claps his hand and walk away from the scene.
Yeah.
Just like, we're good.
No, I know you mentioned the scene between Halle Berry and Billy Bob Thornton, the sex scene, if you will. I, for one, thought that scene specifically ruined the movie for about 10 minutes. It was just, it felt so out of left field.
Yeah.
Felt like it was put in there just strictly to sell tickets.
It's crazy because like when people talk about like scenes like obviously this, you think you're going into, you're like, okay, this is gonna be like an actual good scene, but no, it's usually just their pervy minds being like, yo, I saw Halle Berry boobies, and I saw Billy Bob's chest hair and nipples. It was crazy. But like this scene,
saw Billy Bob and his tidy whities.
It definitely drew away from
the emotion of it.
First off, I had to turn my TV way down because it was like 10 in the morning and all you hear is that. I'm like, oh! So it just made it even more worse for my whole situation.
Yeah.
But,
I was, when I started this film, I was holding my son, and then I took him upstairs so my wife could feed him. And then immediately after I resumed the film, that scene happened. I was like, I'm so glad I'm not holding him right now.
Yeah.
Not that he would understand or even see what's going on. He's at an age where he can only see like 12 to 24 feet in front of his face. Or 24 feet, 24 inches in front of his face.
That man's got vision.
But just the, it doesn't feel right holding a baby while watching
Absolutely
that scene.
not. And it definitely felt how they went about the scene didn't feel right. Obviously she was grieving, so like, that might happen for sure. Obviously you're grieving, you kind of don't want to, feel that emotion anymore. So, one thing leads to another. But it's kind of the way that it happened just didn't feel right.
It feels forced.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a producer came up to them and said, "Hey, you need to have a steamy, smutty sex scene in this," and they're just like, "I don't want to." Okay, well, you gotta. Okay, well, I'll just throw it in this scene where it doesn't make sense, but okay.
And then it went on for too long as well.
It did.
Like, obviously, they sex scenes in movies usually they go like it's either 1-2 pump chump, or just 30 minutes of gratuitous beauty, if you will.
Yeah.
But like obviously that was sarcasm, but yeah, this one it just went a little too long, like maybe like 3-4 minutes,
too long, too explicit, and too for lack of a better word, like dirty. And I'm not saying like sex
spliced with like a bird in a cage and like somebody reaching in for the cage, and I don't know what that was about.
I think bird in hand might be a euphemism, because people always talk about like weird town names in Pennsylvania, and bird in hand is always one. So I'm thinking it is. I'm going to look that up right now, but you can keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt a little forced there. Yeah, like this wasn't the only one. I mean, Sonny in the beginning had one as well. That was the 1-2 punch that I was referring to. Like it goes like instantly from that to this, and then there's just a one later. It's not really that big of a sex scene, but they just kind of do their little cunnilingus and just sit there and go, "Did it feel good?
Yeah.
That didn't hurt you, right? That felt good, right? It felt good, right? Yeah.
Are you asking me?
Huh. Did it feel good?
Yeah. No, it didn't.
No, that's, well, in a bad way. Yeah, I mean, like the sex scenes in here could have used a little bit more, work. It could have had them for sure. Like it's not like I'm against them, obviously, but could have worked on them in some sort of way.
Especially since he was racist, because it kind of cheapened what he was doing, which was trying to actively change. But like, if you get something in return for actively changing, then it's not really. It cheapens it, if you will. It turns it into a conquest rather than him just doing the right thing and being a good person. So yeah, when it turned sexual, it just completely ruined it for me for at least 10 minutes. And then, once that died down a little bit and it moved on, I was able to
it started to get back on its tracks.
Yeah.
There. There was one thing, because we moved a little bit too far past this, but I wanted to bring it up. Sean Combs is actually really good for his role in this movie. I was a little bit surprised. Like, I know he's been in some movies, but like, his role was actually really good. Like, it didn't overstay its welcome or anything like that. He didn't overdo any of his stuff. It was very nice between him and Heath Ledger, and Billy Bob Thornton's character. So there was that, and then the whole dynamic of how Halle Berry and the kid Tyrell are kind of grieving. Well, I don't know necessarily grieving, but like how they're coping with things. Tyrell is eating candy. He's not in a good spot in his life, obviously.
Yeah, I felt that.
And he's just eating chocolate and he's gaining weight. And like at one point, Halle Berry eventually tries to punish him in her own way because she's, not wired right now. Mm-hmm. And then at that same moment, while he's eating like sneaking candy, she's drinking alcohol. Dude, I thought that was pretty cool. Like they're both grieving in different manners there, or coping, whatever you should say.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They both have their vices to cope with the loss. Yeah, but yeah, I completely agree. And her alcoholism not forced her, but like caused her to become very abusive and act out towards her son, which kind of added to her grieving at the end. That's one thing I wish she did. When she was grieving, she said I was a good mother. I wish she had called out her own abusiveness.
Yeah.
At that point, because at that point it's just like, oh, I was a good mother. Oh, really? Well, in our eyes, 30 minutes ago you were
either that or just
abusing him.
have some counter with more scenes of them actually
Yeah.
Because most of the time she's kind of yelling at him. I mean, understandable. The father died. Whatever.
Yeah, it would have. There should have been like a few scenes where, Yeah,
they're laughing or they're having some sort of good time together.
Yeah.
Or caring for each other in some sort of way.
In the same way, it kind of also shows that she doesn't have the time for that. Because she's constantly working and still not making enough money to not get evicted or, to be able to fix her car. It really shows like how crappy the whole capitalism works.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the music in this. I thought it was, very atmospheric.
Sorry, I was looking something up.
No, all good. I kind of just jumped into a different topic, but like the especially in the opening and the ending, with the opening credits and then leading up to the end credits, the music is just it's really on point for me. And really kind of builds this tone where it really kind of adds emotion to it. The composer is Ash and Spencer, And I'd never heard of Ashton Spencer before. I don't know if that's one person or two people on. They share an IMDb page if that's the case.
Yeah,
but,
I'm not sure. I've never heard of him either. I mean, if you haven't, I definitely haven't. But
yeah,
still.
but I really enjoyed the score in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked everybody's performances in this for sure.
Yeah, the kid was a little bit iffy, but is when you're trying to get such a specific body type for a role, it's hard to find like the right
kid
one.
Too, for
and
sure.
a kid, yeah, and a kid. But he did all right. Like he was definitely the weakest, but he still did all right. Especially, pretty much my biggest problem was the scene when he was saying goodbye to his dad.
Yeah.
I felt like that was he seemed kind of a bit stupid, and maybe they were going for that. But like it really felt more like his performance than it did the actual character.
Yeah.
But he did a pretty good job after that. It just that was the one thing that took me out of it.
Yeah, I obviously, we all maybe wish this a little. I wish there was just a little bit more with Heath, but like his time didn't overstay or anything. I just wish there was like a little more, some sort of emotion there.
Yeah.
Or just like, I do and I don't want more. That's the thing I hated the most about this. But really, I mean, overall, this was a great movie. I've never seen anybody crave ice cream more than, Forrest Gump, but here this man is.
Billy Bob Thornton?
Billy Bob Thornton.
And always with a plastic spoon.
He loves man who likes some chocolate ice cream and some black coffee.
Yeah.
Imagine going to a restaurant just for that, like, every day. That freaks me out.
You'd probably get diabetes or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when in the ending, it kind of leads you on this path where Billy Bob Thornton's character knows that her husband is Sean Combs, the last guy that he executed. He never addresses it, and it kind of gets to the point where there's 10 minutes left in the movie. And she still hasn't brought it up, and you're just kind of wondering, like, does she know? And then it leads to this beautiful reveal where she didn't know. She finds the drawings of both Heath Ledger's character and Billy Bob Thornton's character, Hank and Sonny, that her husband did that were sent back to him, and she kind of breaks down. And I was really thinking that was going to lead to her shooting him.
Something, sure.
Yeah, because there's so many movies like that where this betrayal happens, and whether he meant for it to be a betrayal or not being upfront when that her husband is the last person that you executed, that is a betrayal on some kind, withholding that information, even if you don't intend it to be. So when he comes back with the ice cream and she's like on the verge of tears, I was just waiting for her to pull a gun on him, and the fact that it ends with them just kind of sitting on the porch, her seeing Sonny's grave, and then kind of understanding, without him saying anything, the trauma he went through, and the kind of putting the timing through her head. He drew this the night that he was killed, and then shortly after his son died, and then shortly after he left the corrections. Like, obviously, whether she knows it or not, the execution of her husband had a severe impact on his family. And that was just a beautiful moment with no words, just them, with her just understanding what he went through without him having to say it. And I really love that it was that and not the cliche, oh, you lied to me, bang, bang, boom, boom.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Now that you said that, I like it a little more, because I didn't really like it that much when they were both kind of just sitting there,
Yeah,
honestly, now that you explained it a little bit, like, I'm kind of a little happier for it. I don't wish they like did the bang 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 boom thing, but I wish they would have took some sort of approach to at least saying like a word or two to each other.
Yeah.
But then again, now that you explained it, I'm a little bit happier with it.
I wanted them to say something too, but that shot of her looking over at Sonny's grave, for me, said something. And then she sees him when he holds the ice cream up to her face, sees that he didn't mean to fall in love with her. Like, he was never trying to use her or anything. And her just understanding that and thinking, I just imagine her thinking that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
And just kind of being in the moment. And then he wraps it up with a "we're gonna be all right" thing. She has like a slight smile on her face. I thought it was just a beautiful. It would have been completely ruined if she killed him.
Yeah.
But I also wanted them to say something until the final like 30 seconds. I was like, okay, that is actually a really perfect ending in my opinion. But
I also don't necessarily think killing him would have justified anything. So that would have been like the worst thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's so many movies that end with that because people just want action.
Some sort of interaction would have been good.
Yeah,
but also what we got was definitely just as good for sure.
Yeah, I think for me the silence speaks volumes, but I can understand wanting a verbal confirmation. But I really like the way they did it. Would have been interesting to see what she had to say, but I think it was perfect the way they did it.
I feel like there's something else I wanted to say, but I really don't know. That's really all I had, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if you're good, we can jump into the judgment.
Let's jump into the judgmental.
All right, as always, it has to be a mutual consensus for this. That's not the word you normally say. I just can't think. Unanimous decision. There we go. For this to become a shelf boy with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden Glungeman Button. This was your pick, so you go first. Does Monsters Ball make it onto the KFR shelf?
So I've been kind of like struggling with this all morning, because I watched it this morning, obviously. On how I want to go about it, I don't necessarily know. I liked the performances and everything. There's some things that kind of took me out of it. I don't know necessarily that I'll ever see it again.
It's a bleak movie, so like you have to be a masochist to want to watch it.
Yeah,
again.
It's actually here's the review that I saw on Letterboxd that I absolutely found hilarious. Billy Bob Thornton solves racism by aggressively banging the devil out of Holly Berry while everyone around them dies horrific deaths. What an upbeat treat.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, I did like this movie a lot. I don't necessarily think I want to put it on the shelf. I'm curious what your thoughts are on, see, maybe if you could sway me, or maybe you feel the same way. I'm not sure.
I feel like you take out the sex, you take out the romantic relationship altogether, and it's just a platonic friendship, and it is a significantly better film.
Yeah. I am curious who she was up against for the
Oscar. But for me, the romantic relationship of it all really ruins it. But at the same time, I know this was made 20 years ago, and people were dumber back then. She was up against Judi Dench in Irish, Nicole Kidman in Moulin Rouge, Renee Zellweger, Bridget Jones' Diary, and Sissy Spacek for In the Bedroom. I have seen one of those movies, which is Moulin Rouge, and I really like Nicole Kidman in that. But I do think she was better than Nicole Kidman in this film. But yeah, honestly, that's the sexualization of her character just kind of ruins it for me. It's a really solid film. If I could export the last, like the beginning 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little bit in the middle where it just feels like a platonic relationship. I would say yes, but I think the sex scene really kind of takes it out for me. Yeah.
The one that everyone loves, we are not fans of. Kind of ruins it for it.
Well, it's because it's the people who love it like it because it's sexy, not because not because it adds anything to the story.
I don't think I'm going to put it on the shelf. I think it's a good movie overall. I wasn't that crazy about it that I wanted on.
Legitimately, there are two movies where, like, if I could package up the last 10 minutes and burn that onto a DVD, I would. The first one is it's a movie with Paul Bettany where he plays an angel.
Legion?
Legion. The last 10 minutes of Legion are really good, but the rest of it sucks. this is obviously way better than Legion.
Yeah.
But the last 15 to 20 minutes are incredible for me, and then the rest of the movie is pretty good, and then the sex scene just ruins it. So yeah. Monsters Ball does not make it onto the KFR shelf, unfortunately, but it's still a really good movie. Highly suggest people check it out, but just not good enough to put on the shelf. Yeah. So that brings us to plugs. Glenn, since it's your week, what is your plug?
Yes, all right. So I have very recently just spoken to you about this. I have a buddy. I don't know how many of you care about Twitch or video games and everything like that, but if you are into Twitch, there's a huge Grand Theft Auto server, like for roleplay strictly, that is called NoPixel. And my man actually just got onto NoPixel, which is a pretty big deal for him, for me as his friend. I try to help him with a bunch of ideas for his characters and stuff like that. It's a really fun time, kind of producing some stuff for him and then him executing them onto the server, because like thousands and thousands of people see this stuff like all the time. So it's really cool to work with this man and to see all the stuff he can kind of flesh out here. Flesh out here. And his Twitch page is called Slurpee Cup on Twitch. And there you go. Watch him pull out some great characters like Victor Lapadite, who is a French medic, and his whole family has been in a French medical field. And his other character, Cedric Brown, who is Cleveland Brown's brother from Family Guy. This is Victor walking with a pirate with 2 eye patches, looking for some booty.
Never mind, no worries. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. Okay, just follow the sound of my voice. I will take you down here to the pier. Yeah.
Yarr.
Do you smell the seaweed and the clams in the air? No, the sea.
Yarr, I do.
Yes, you hear the sounds of the ocean waves crashing upon this shore, no?
It sounds so beautiful.
Yes, it sure does.
Trying to sound like you. Yarr.
Oh, thank you, sir.
What is this railing here?
In this one, his character, Cedric, is having a conversation with Tupac, looking for a character named Louis Griffin.
You know somebody named Cleveland. Does he ever talk about somebody named Cedric?
Yes. So, a long time ago, yes, he said he had a brother or something like that named Cedric. I don't know. I just thought he was a loser, you know. Just thought he was a terrible person.
Hold on! You ain't talking about me, motherfucker. I'll suck your toenails off. You a bitch. You with your football-headed ass. Look at you. You look like Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold's stepson.
All right.
That's funny. Cool. Yeah. So that is your plug. My plug for this week. A little self-promotion, but also a little extra on top of that, a little pepper on top of that, if you will. So we recorded some videos yesterday. All of them will be out by the time that this is released. 3 trailer reactions and a review for Those Who Wish Me Dead, as I spoke earlier. One of the trailer reactions is my specific plug. It is the Green Knight trailer reaction by yours truly, KFR, Keystone Film Review. You know, since we started doing trailer reactions, they've pretty much all been Marvel or Star Wars or in some franchise. This is like the first real independent trailer we've done, at least since we stopped doing like 5, 10, 15 videos a week.
Yeah, it's also very hard to do when, you know, no movie trailers other than those ones are really coming out.
Yeah, they weren't coming out. So The Green Knight was my most anticipated movie of last year. Obviously, it did not come out last year. So A24 released a new trailer this past week for it. We did a reaction to it. You can see how excited I get. But on top of that, also, it's kind of hilarious that, if I'm honest, that reaction video is pretty funny.
Yeah. You're just beating the shit out of things.
On top of that, the song in the trailer is fucking phenomenal. So that is my little pepper on top of that plug. The song Laps by Black Math is the song in the Green Knight trailer, and it is a dope ass song, so I highly suggest people check that out. The Green Knight trailer reaction by Keystone Film Review, yours truly, and Black Math Laps, the song from that trailer.
All the beauty in your face, when all the anger separates us,
So good. You're gonna enjoy. You're gonna enjoy those. And yeah, those are my plugs. So those are our plugs for this week. That brings us to streaming roulette. I almost said Netflix again. I had to stop myself.
That's something to slap your wrist. How dare you?
So for those of you who aren't aware, I'm sure everyone's aware at this point. The way streaming roulette works is we spin the wheel 3 times and
Totally real
wheel, and it selects from the various streaming platforms that we subscribe to 3 movies, and then we pick which of those 3 movies we would rather watch. So without any further ado, here comes the first spin. Atomic Eden. Oh, also, it has to be at least a year old.
2015.
Atomic Eden is 2015, yeah. So Atomic Eden, directed by Nico Setner, written by Nico Setner, starring Fred Williamson, Mike Mueller, Hazuki Kato, and Everett Ray Aponte. Atomic Eden, trapped inside an old mining complex somewhere in the ruins of Chernobyl, a group of international mercenaries must band together to fight an army of madmen. 8 against 800. They just couldn't lose. Interesting. This seems like a really cheesy action movie.
Yeah.
And that is going to be on Prime. Oh, it says to rent. Should we do it since it says to rent?
It's free on Tubi.
Oh, free on Tubi. Okay. So that's going to be free on Tubi, probably with ads if we're honest.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's free. So that is Atomic Eden. Our second spin. Here we go. Oh, my God. Tentacle 8. Streaming roulette is punishing us. This
2014.
2014. It is directed by John Chi, written by John Chi, starring Brett Rickaby, Amy Mota, Joshua Morrow, and Bruce Gray. It is a mysterious NSA analyst, Ray Berry, becomes entangled in top-secret investigation after a malicious computer virus crashes the U.S. intelligence community networks. And then it continues on from there. It does not need to be watched. That looks like it is also on Tubi. Let's see if it's anywhere else. Nope. So Tubi. We have 2 Tubi movies.
2 Tubis.
And honestly, I'm not excited for either of them, but we'll see. So, come on, film gods. Glenn, pray with me. Our Father who art in cinema. Our fathers who art in cinema, hallowed be thy name. Here comes spin number 3. Why She Cries. Oh my goodness. Why She Cries. Again. 2000. Oh boy.
This one's on Pluto TV, Apple Prime Video, Vudu.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's written by Tony D. White, written by E. Janine White, starring James Black, Dustin Doan, Amanda Garrett, and Whitney Hicks, no relation. It is about 2 sisters are trying to repair their relationship while one keeps a stark secret from the other. Oh my God. I don't think there is a God.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of hyped for Atomic Eden.
Atomic Eden.
It just sounds so stupid, and I want to watch it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Together, they must fight an army of madmen.
If it's war that he wants, it's war he's gonna get.
Who are these guys?
8 against 800. They just couldn't lose. American blaxploitation legend Fred Williamson. German martial arts sensation Mike Mueller. In Nico Setner's Atomic Eden.
I mean, unless we're going to spin it a third time. I'm not excited for Atomic Eden, but out of those, I'm most Atomic for Atomic Eden. Okay.
Do you want to spin for your fresh mind and see how mad you get? I want to see this. Watch it be a really good one too.
Okay, spin.
But we're stuck with these 3.
Spin number 4, which is not counting at all. Oh, hold on. I mean, it's a higher rating. Motown Mafia: The Story of Eddie Jackson and Courtney. You know, every now and then, I'm gonna put in a little secret. Every now and then, when I'm getting tired of the picks that Streaming Roulette gives, I make it so the IMDb score has to be at least 6.5. I wish I had done that this week. But anyway, we're watching Atomic Eden. You can check that out on Tubi. God damn.
Watch us. That's the thing. Watch us love this one. It's gonna be so bad that we actually like it.
I hope it's so bad that I like it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Atomic Eden, that is going to be available on Tubi. That is our pick for next week. For anyone who actually watches the movies with us, I apologize. There is no God, apparently.
Nope.
And he does not, because he does not exist, he does not want us to
He's
watch
definitely
movies.
trying to cancel the Stonies.
Trying to cancel the Stonies. So, Atomic Eden on Tubi, that is our pick for next week. Thank you, everybody, for listening. As always, you can check out our website, www.keystonefilmreview.com. On Instagram, Keystone_film_review. Twitter, Keystone_film. Facebook, Keystone Film Review. YouTube, Keystone Film Review, where you can check out all of our videos that we've been making. And on Letterboxd, I am Mike, KFR.
And I am Glenn, KFR.
And that will do it until next week when we fight 800 madmen in the mines of Chernobyl. Rawr.